guys, and welcome to Larkin Design. This is Theresa, and today I'm working on the final layout in my 2016 Project Life album. So I've shared this layout already on the Celine Studio blog, and I've also shared it on my Instagram. And so today I thought I would talk with you a little bit about my process for creating this layout. So this is a layout for the month of November from last year. And my approach to photography and family documenting every year is that I'm pretty aggressive and pretty liberal with my photo taking from January until October. And then the month of November I take off. I take off the month of November because usually I'm getting ready for December Daily, which is a very photo heavy month and a very documenting heavy month. And so November is sort of my downtime. And I think that that's totally okay to take a month or so when you need it, take a break, not focus on specifically taking a certain amount of photos or anything like that. I did obviously take a few with my phone just because I wanted to, not because I needed to fill an album, right? I think by the time that I'm done with October, I can see that I've documented 2016 really well. I have 2 albums from 2016, and so I've documented that year, and it's okay to take a break and step back a little bit and just enjoy life. So these are a couple of the photos that I took with my phone just throughout the month. Obviously, one of the photos is from Thanksgiving, and it's just one of our dinner table before we were getting ready to eat. And so I wanted that to be a highlight. This is a gratitude themed layout, and I think that the end of the year and the closing pages of an album are a really good place to express some of the gratitude that you feel from the whole year. It's a great time to assess the year and look back over all the memories that have been documented and all the experiences that were had, and to be thankful for all the width and depth and breadth of life. Last year was definitely an eventful year for us. We had some really wonderful days, and we had some really hard days, and we got through it all. And so this is sort of my expression of that gratitude. So I'm working with the Project Mouse Beginnings collection, and absolutely this is not necessarily a Thanksgiving themed collection. I'm going to make no bones about that. It is filled with pastel colors and a lighter turquoise and a beautiful pink and the yellows and that gray. Those all spoke to me, and obviously those colors are found in these photos that I took because they're part of our everyday life. But what actually makes this really successful was bringing in the Maggie Holmes Gather collection, which is obviously somewhat Thanksgiving themed without being overbearing, all oranges and thankful. Just some gentle fall elements that don't scream fall, but they remind the viewer of this layout that, oh, this is still fall, and this is somewhat of a thankful kind of layout. I don't know, I don't want it to be overly themey. I'm not a very themed scrapbooker, but I definitely wanted to see when the Beginnings collection was released. I wanted to see how many different ways I could use that collection, just because it is a very versatile group of cards and elements. So I have also printed all the digital elements from the collection. I printed them on vellum and on cardstock, and so I'm using some of those throughout the layout. And then also I'm using a couple of stamp sets. I have an alphabet set from Carrie Bradford, and also a couple of sets from Gossamer Blue from last year as well. They were part of the kit subscriptions. One of the things that I really loved about the Gather collection were just the tiny touches of gold that were in the stickers and the chipboard pieces. I use those to my advantage here, just to add a little tiny pop and a little tiny bit of sparkle. Now the dinnerware that's on our table it's a pattern from the 60s and 70s. It belonged to my mom, and it's called Royal Evesham Gold, or Royal Worcester Evesham Gold. And so I wanted to repeat the pops of gold throughout the layout, just to repeat that element. I'm also just going to journal a few closing thoughts here about the year. And then I'm going to move to the right-hand side of the layout. Now, obviously, November was election month, and I wanted to refer to that in some way. It's too big of an election to just sort of pretend like it didn't happen. But I have to be honest and say that, and I'm not getting political here in any way, but I did want to say that I am thankful every time that I have a few weeks, because of Project Life, I have a few weeks to sort of process events before I journal about them and before I include them in my albums. And so if you ever feel the pressure of being quote unquote caught up with your Project Life, here's a good reason not to be caught up. I'm usually about 4 to 5 weeks out. Obviously this was November and it's now April. So with last year's Project Life, I got a little more backlogged, and that's okay. But I'm thankful to have a little bit of time to process what happened and to come to a better place. I think that if I had journaled about this in November, it might not have been fair or thought through yet. We had a lot of raw emotions in the month of November across the board. And so I like having just a few weeks to think about what has happened and to get a grip on what might feel like panic, or what might feel like we don't really know what to think of it all. And I think on both sides of the fence we don't know what to think of it all. But what I wanted to be able to come to a place to express was hope. And that is what I focused on in my journaling here, is to remember that there's always hope. No matter what happens, whether the outcome was what we wanted or whether it wasn't what we wanted, there's always hope. And there are always many, many, many good people, and we always have each other. As long as we have each other, there is hope. And as long as we are still able to document our memories, to have good memories, and to have each other, then there's always hope, and it's going to be okay. And if I want my children to get one thing from our albums, I think that's probably the thing that I want them to most get. Because they're always going to know that there's going to be hardships. I have to tell you guys that if you had told me or Alan 7 or 8 years ago that this is where we would be 7 or 8 years from then, we might not have believed you. And 7 or 8 years ago, we both individually, before we began dating and before we blended our families, we were in really hard places, each of us individually, trying to recover and trying to rebuild our lives from some pretty devastating events. And at that time, we didn't know where we were going to end up or how things were going to all work out. And so now, 7 or 8 years later, we're able to say, hey, we made it through, we did it, we're good. And I think that 7 or 8 years from now, we'll do that again, and we'll sit and look back at 7 or 8 years ago at the November 2016 election, and I hope that we'll be able to say that we moved forward from that. What exactly that looks like, none of us know. But we get to be the creators of that. Just like Alan and I have gotten to be the creators of our family the way it is today. We've gotten to be proactive, and we've gotten to work on creating the environment that we wish to see. And that, my friends, is the empowerment that we get. Even when hard things are going on around us, we still know that we have the ability to create what we want around us, and that is the hope. So, that is my message of inspiration and encouragement today. My layout is now complete, and so thank you for watching. I hope that you will like and comment and subscribe, and I'll see you back here again soon. Thanks again, you guys. Bye-bye.